Filing for bankruptcy can be a tough decision, and it can be even harder when you learn that there's a significant cost associated with filing. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down the cost of filing for bankruptcies and compare it against potential benefits of filing. So let's get started. Hey guys, my name is Justin, and this is Ascend Finance's YouTube channel, where we hope to answer all of your financial and debt relief questions. Today, we're going to be covering a topic that can be a little intimidating: the cost of filing for bankruptcy. When you're at the point where you realize you may have to file for bankruptcy, understandably, the last thing you want to learn is the bankruptcy costs money. In this video, we're going to cover what those costs are, what the cost actually provides for you, why, and in the end, if it could all be worth it. Before we get started, I did want to let you know that at Ascend, we know it's important to have all the relevant information you can get before moving forward. To help you do this, we actually built a completely free calculator that helps you figure out what your bankruptcy may cost. The calculator is linked in the video description below. Feel free to try it out and let us know if you have any comments and questions. Now let's get back into it. The first thing you need to know is that the different bankruptcy options cost different amounts. This can change based on two things: variable and fixed costs. In the bankruptcy, there are fixed costs and there are variable costs. The fixed costs are filing and administrative fees, and the variable costs are generally the attorney fees. Our calculator can help you get an estimated breakdown of these costs for your specific situation. The filing cost for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy is right around $338. which can be broken down into a $245 filing fee and then a $78 administrative fee. On top of that, there's also a trustee surcharge, which is around $15. The filing cost for a Chapter 13 bankruptcy is around $313, which is $235 for the filing fee and around $78 for the administrative fee. The biggest variable cost is based on the attorney fee, and it's based on 5 different main things. First, the chapter of the bankruptcy. 2, the complexity of the case. 3rd is your location. 4th is going to be the level of attorney involvement. 5th, it's going to be the expertise and experience on the attorney's end. While these costs can very much vary, there are a lot of factors to consider. The cost of your bankruptcy can change based on the type of bankruptcy you're filing for. The 2 most common types of bankruptcy are Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. Chapter 7 bankruptcy is often less expensive, as it mainly focuses on liquidation, and it eliminates a huge chunk of your unsecured debt. Some of those debts include medical bills, credit card bills, and generally personal loans. You have to qualify for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which is based on the means test. Many qualify for Chapter 7 bankruptcy when they're below the median income guideline, which is based on the state you reside in, the household size, and your annual gross income. Next, let's take a look at the Chapter 13 bankruptcy costs. Chapter 13 bankruptcy often costs more than a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Although the initial cost to file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy is less expensive, the total cost of a bankruptcy is much higher than a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. So let's go through the cost to file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. First, you have the Chapter 13 bankruptcy attorney fees. This can generally range between $2,500 to $6,000. Some, if not all, of the Chapter 13 bankruptcy attorney fee is actually paid in the monthly payment plan. You can estimate your Chapter 13 monthly plan payment by using our Chapter 13 calculator, which includes both the bankruptcy attorney fee and the trustee fee. The Chapter 13 bankruptcy attorney fee may be same across the bankruptcy district, regardless of who you choose to hire. The reason for the similarities in bankruptcy fees is called the no-look fee. The no-look fee is the reasonable fee that the attorney may charge to represent a debtor. You can look at this as some sort of consumer protection. However, the amount that the attorney charges might be different depending on the state where one files a bankruptcy. Now next is the Chapter 13 trustee fee. In addition to the bankruptcy attorney fees, you may also be responsible for the Chapter 13 trustee fee that is paid within the Chapter 13 bankruptcy plan. This can actually make Chapter 13 quite a bit more expensive, but it's also included in the repayment plan, so you won't have to pay it all at once. Now third are the filing fees. The total filing fee for a bankruptcy under a Chapter 13 is around $310. This consists of the $235 filing fee and the $75 administrative fee. Fourth, and finally, you still have to consider the other miscellaneous costs, which are similar to a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. It's important to keep in mind there may be other miscellaneous costs incurred during the process for both a Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Such expenses will be likely around $300 to $400. You can, however, lower your costs by finding a pro bono lawyer who will handle your case for free. In case a pro bono legal representation is not an alternative, you consider creating a payment plan that will help you offset the bills without much of a hassle. So, the total cost to file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy should be anywhere between $2,800 to $6,300, not including the trustee fees. Note that the filing fees are the same in all states. At this point, you may be wondering whether you have enough debt to justify filing for bankruptcy. Unlike what most people would think, there is no minimum debt threshold that one has to achieve to qualify for a bankruptcy filing. You should, however, consider your financial condition so that you can determine whether you should file for bankruptcy or not. Despite there being no debt minimum, it is important to keep in mind the amount of debt you hold, as it's a critical factor in the decision to file for a bankruptcy. The decision to file a bankruptcy or not should depend on these specific factors, or can depend on these factors. First, the creditor's desire to continue doing business with you. Second is the ability to clear your debt during the bankruptcy. Third, the ability to repay the debt outside of the bankruptcy. Four, your financial situation, other underlying factors that may influence the decision. There is also a Chapter 13 debt limit that anyone should consider, especially when planning to file for bankruptcy under a Chapter 13. As of April 1st, 2019, an individual is not allowed to have more than $419,000 of unsecured debt. Also, secured debts must not exceed around $1.2 million. So, if you think you may not be ready to file for bankruptcy, are there any other options? Luckily, the answer to that is yes. Some of the alternatives include debt management, debt settlement, debt consolidation loans, debt payoff planning, and looking for additional sources of income while at the same time reducing your consumption. First, let's look at debt management. Debt management is the process of negotiating the interest rates down on your unsecured debt accounts. Most debt management companies are nonprofits or known as credit counseling companies. Next, you can also look into debt settlement. Similarly to debt management, debt settlement is going to be where you negotiate the total amount of debt you owe rather than the interest rates. You can often do this yourself or work with a professional or debt settlement company to do this for you. There are numerous pros and cons attached, which I will link to a couple articles down below that could help you understand those pros and cons more in detail. So please feel free to look into those options more if you think they may be able to help you and might be able to help you prevent yourself from filing for a bankruptcy. Now, before you decide to file for bankruptcy, it is important to conduct a thorough review of your financial situation. It's also helpful to evaluate all of your other available options. It will allow you to have a clear view on how things look, as well as the potential alternatives. Each situation has different factors that individuals or companies should consider before deciding whether or not to file for a bankruptcy. If you'd like some help getting started, please feel free to check out our free calculator linked in the description below. Now I'm going to turn it over to you guys. Was this video helpful? Please let us know in the comments below and drop any questions you might have concerning bankruptcy, debt relief, debt payoff planning, etc. Stay tuned for more videos in the future. Thanks so much for watching.